Good morning, everybody. It's Shani, your compassionate real estate broker. Here's my Thursday tip, Thursday wisdom. And I wanted to introduce you today to Pamela Adamson. She's an independent mortgage broker, and there's a hand, sorry. I'll put my hat there. Ho, 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 by the way. Anyway, Pam works as an independent mortgage broker, and I wanted to talk to her and let her explain the difference between herself and somebody that works at a bank, and why I actually really recommend speaking with an independent mortgage broker. So I'm going to flip the screen and introduce you to Pam. This is Pam. Hi, Pam.
Good morning, everyone.
I'm going to let you go ahead and tell the difference between an independent mortgage broker and one that works at the bank, and also as it relates to insurance on the house when somebody's purchasing.
Okay.
Okay?
So I guess the main difference, because I worked in banking for 23 years of my career, and now 4 years as an independent mortgage agent with Mortgage Brokers Ottawa. And I think the main difference is that I specialize in just property financing, and I don't represent one company. I have 48 different mortgage lenders, and I really work for the client. So because
For the buyer.
For the buyer. Or for the client, because I've had clients that are looking at selling their property too as well, and maybe buying another one, or if they're looking for an investment property. So I really think I'm client focused. Not that people that are working for a bank isn't client focused, but they have one set of products, and you might not particularly fit into that set of products when you're working with an individual bank. So I'm licensed to work with the clients, and I have more in-depth conversations with clients too as well.
I actually tell people too, it's not all about the rate, right? People often think, what's the best mortgage rate right now? Exactly. I want to go with them.
Yeah.
But it's not all about the rate, right?
It's not all about the rate, because I can offer you the very best rate, but it also might have the most restrictions on it as well. So, and it really depends on what your goals are in terms of what your mortgage is. So if you're looking at aggressively paying down your mortgage, maybe the best rate doesn't offer you options to prepay your mortgage or pay it out early, or switch if rates go down. So you might be restricted. So the rate is actually the easiest part of the conversation. It's finding out what your goals are for this property, and then having that conversation. I will always offer and look for the best deal, but will it fit in based on what our conversation is?
And you, as an independent mortgage broker, what I find the big difference is you get all the information in advance.
Yes.
So before I find the actual property with my client, day one, that we want to make an offer on, you've done your work. You've done your homework. You've gathered all the information.
Yeah.
We know what we're looking at.
Absolutely. I don't like any surprises, so I like to have that conversation with the client. I like to get all the relevant documents up front so that I can have a look at it.
And you can vet people through the stress test.
Absolutely. I can, so somebody is right, especially in the market today where people are going in and they have to waive conditions in 2 days. Sometimes they're going in without any financing conditions. You need to know what your upper limit is. You need to know if there's any issues up front, and then we can confront that, and then you're ready to go, and then you can, with confidence, know that you can afford this property. And having a conversation, especially if your situation changes too as well, how does that affect it? So being ready up front, especially in the Ottawa market, is key.
Okay, and the other thing I tell people is that obtaining a mortgage or securing a mortgage is actually two aspects. The securing the pre-approval for yourself,
yeah,
that the lenders actually accept you for at this amount, but also the property itself. Can you explain that?
Well, a pre-approval is a bit misleading because a pre-approval in the general sense is a rate hold for anywhere from 90 to 120 days. But the lender hasn't looked at any of your documentation. And that's why I like to get the documentation up front, because I want to know, I know what lenders are looking for. So if I get your documentation up front, if I know you're self-employed or I need to know the situation right up front, because a pre-approval is just a rate hold. If there's no offer on a property, the lender's not going to be underwriting and looking at any of your documents up front. So you can be ready, and also too as well, pulling up your credit bureau to see if there's any issues that might need to be resolved. There could be just little blips, but we resolve them so you know when you're ready to go. And also too, if you're in a pre-approval stage, you've got a rate hold for 120 days. I've seen all your documentation. I know what your situation is, so I'm fairly confident of where you're going. But then you also have to have, it's the property that the lender's looking at too as well. And depending on where that property is it in rural areas? Is it urban? Is it well in septic? Are you looking at an investment property? So that's key too as well. So with that piece of the property, because their lenders are not always approving certain properties.
And the lender actually has to approve the property for the
Absolutely.
agreed upon purchase price.
Yep.
Basically, the lender always wants to make sure that they can get their money back if you default on the mortgage.
Absolutely, and with these bidding wars that are happening in Ottawa and houses going for more than the list price, lenders are looking for more and more appraisals to make sure that the property's actually worth the $40,000 or $50,000 over list price. Because if it's not, then they will only finance the lower amount of either the asking price or the appraised value. So that's key too as well, and to people to be aware of. And I make people aware of it because we've seen it more and more in the office. So, and I've seen it. And I've told clients, and they're ready for it. As long as you're ready for it and you plan for it, then at least you know what you're going into. Because if you've got to come up with $30,000 or $40,000 and you don't have it, and you've gone in unconditionally, where are you going to get the money? So you need to be aware of all of the risks associated with it too as well.
Okay, and then the last thing, when people are talking, if they are dealing direct with their lender and they're talking about getting mortgage insurance,
Right.
as opposed to dealing with you and another individual who actually does insurance, can you explain the difference between the insurance that a lender would
Right.
provide as opposed to...
Well, it depends. Like if you're talking life and disability and critical illness,
to cover the mortgage.
to cover the mortgage amount, or are you talking about the CMHC insurance? Because I have clients that get, if they have less than 20% down, and when I say an insured mortgage, they think it's life insurance and disability. But if we're talking life insurance to cover the amount of the mortgage in case you die or you're disabled, there's differences. So individual lenders, banks, and some of the lenders that I work with too as well, will have their own insurance products, life insurance, and it's a retention tool, really. So I think that you should have something put in place, but then you need to shop around and talk to your own insurance specialist. But the insurance that I offer as an independent mortgage agent is it can go from lender to lender, and it's generally about 20 to 30% cheaper, and you're not tied to one particular lender too as well.
But is that insurance the kind of insurance that once the debt is paid off, once the mortgage is paid off, it's dead? The insurance is dead.
That's right. But the I work with it's Manulife. So, and actually after a 5-year term, they'll actually send you a notification asking you if you still want to continue with this, and you have the option to opt out too as well. So it's something to put in place. until you get something better. And I'll hound my clients to make sure that they talk to their insurance agent. But there's different options, whether it's straight with a lender or it's something independent, because the product that is offered through the broker channel, it can go from lender to lender. So you can start out with, say, Scotiabank, your mortgage matures, and then you go to somebody like Street Capital. You can take that insurance with you, but if you're with Scotiabank and you take their life insurance with them, and you want to change lenders because the rate is better, it's a better product, you're going to lose that life insurance. And what happens if your circumstances have changed? You've got to requalify.
So there's many different things to consider.
Many different options.
Many different considerations.
Yeah, many different considerations.
That's why people should be talking to independent advisors, mortgage brokers like you that have the knowledge. And I always tell people, I'm not that person. I do not do the mortgage part. I send to the specialist like you. So thank you for that. Do you have anything else you'd want to say, or?
Well, I think every day I'm learning something new. I was in the banking world for 23 years, and I thought I knew everything, and it turns out I don't. So I think most people should just ask the questions, do your homework, and then ultimately it's your decision. So, but the more information you have, the more choices that you realize you have, then you just better informed and you feel like you're making a better decision. Don't be directed by one particular offer or a friend's recommendation. Do your homework and then you choose, but make sure you have all the information.
Perfect. Thanks, Pam.
You're welcome.
Okay, bye, everybody. So Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. Shani Claus, your compassionate real estate broker, signing out for today. Have a good one. Bye.